From somewhere above the entire arena, Wellen's voice thundered, warming up the crowd in stands. A set of pompous words. We were betrayed. We are what is left of the real alliance, and we are just cleaning our ranks of enemy agents, reminding of the unfortunate Titan and uniting with Skibidists. Nothing new. Polycephaly listened to this, looked at the raging speakers, who seemed to have gathered the entire base, and he didn't understand why the hell those who were like brothers, with whom he had recently fought side by side, had suddenly turned into some kind of brutal cretins. Why do they even listen to Wellen, a little scoundrel and an entity who has seized power? It's as if they themselves have turned into brainless zombies. However, the answers in such cases are always simple. Someone chose the stronger side. Someone chose to believe a lie to make their life easier. And those who didn't understand in time that they had to shut up and swear allegiance to the new government, they are now here, below, in the arena, as a lesson to others. The protected net stretched over the arena was electrified. No escape, nowhere to go. The hangar doors opened, releasing a crowd of infected. There were many of them, too many to believe in the possibility of fighting back and returning to the cage alive. If cameramen were still cheerful, gloomily clutching their weapons in anticipation of the final battle, then the speakers were crushed by a wave of hatred that fell upon them from the stands. One of them didn't even react at all to what was happening, as if he had turned to stone. Lurch picked him up with one hand and lifted him onto his shoulder, then sent two more there, those who looked the most vulnerable. The others shook themselves a little, feeling support from their mate in misfortune. Polycephaly understood that he couldn't protect himself or them. Everything would end badly. He just didn't understand why his relatives didn't come to help. Sophie couldn't forget about the message, even with all her dislike for Greek. Could something have happened to them too? Or to the transporter that TV woman was flying on? Lurch focused on what he could do here and now. Protect the agents to the last, even in a hopeless situation. They all fought like cornered animals, focused, desperate, covering each other. But in the end, only Polycephaly and the speaker who still didn't come out of shock remained. His two mates still found the strength to fight, but both were already infected and turned into monsters. TV Man was also beaten several times. He seemed to be holding on by sheer willpower, thinking only of that last, helpless agent who seemed to have passed out from the horror and absurdity of what was happening, only convulsively clutching the cod's collar. The virus began to act. His consciousness became clouded, and his body stopped obeying him. The world seemed to be covered in fog, but with some part of himself, Polycephaly felt and realized everything, like through a dream, when you can move. Whatever he had become grabbed the speaker and swallowed him whole. That speaker didn't even try to fight back. Whistles and screams were heard from the stands, and gods in exoskeletons appeared in arena and pushed the infected back in hangars. Lurch, whining quietly, huddled in a corner of the hangar. Absurd, hunched figure, neither death nor final oblivion wanted to come. It was torture to continue to feel, to understand, to think. Through the fog clouding consciousness. Others seemed to be luckier. The creatures in hangar had fallen into anabiosis. Only a few were scratching at the walls and sniffing their relatives. They didn't remember themselves. Polycephaly was doomed to eternal torture. Eternal, or until someone turns off the inner light of his screen forever.